So today is the Pride Parade here in New York City, and all month there have been LGBTQ celebrations across the US. When did we start seeing this shift in attention that companies are giving to Pride events?
I think we start to really see a shift in kind of corporate interest, probably in the early 90s. And been a lot of debate over the last, roughly 20 years or 30 years actually. Just what is it that we're losing in the process of, the parade becoming, a predominant amount of, sort of floats that are about, companies and corporations as opposed to community groups or political protests, et cetera.
Which there are lots of people in the LGBTQ community who aren't going to mainstream Pride events. Who are groups like the Reclaim Pride Coalition and other people who are boycotting these events?
Sure. So this year you have an interesting dynamic. So you have, I think, partly as a result of the 50th anniversary of Stonewall, a collection of organizations and queer activists in New York City who said, we don't actually want to participate in the more corporate, Pride parade as it currently exists. So they decided to have a commemorative march called the Queer Liberation March that would march the original route of the first gay pride parade in New York City. The goal is really to kind of rededicate ourselves to kind of LGBT life as a political movement as opposed to a kind of depoliticized, just sort of, party moment and a moment to just, allow for kind of corporations to market to us ad nauseum.
Isn't it a sign of progress and acceptance of LGBTQ culture if these companies are giving them the same attention as they do other demographics?
Just because a corporation slaps a rainbow flag on their website or creates ads or puts a float, in the parade, they may also be involved in a range of other kind of activities. One being clear, what are their sort of, hiring policies, how sort of queer or transgender friendly are their corporations in terms of just like the workplace environment. In addition to, as LGBT people, we're not just concerned with gay friendly, right? Some of us are also concerned with minimum wage and wage conditions. A lot of LGBT people are poor. What we've seen in terms of the kind of marketing to an LGBT constituency shows a certain progress in the sense that it demonstrates that we are seen as a group to be marketed to, but it doesn't necessarily mean a political commitment to the lives of actual LGBT people in this country, especially those folks of color and people who are more vulnerable.
We've seen companies like Pepsi and Nike sort of attaching themselves to other social justice movements. Is this part of a larger pattern?
I absolutely think this is part of a larger pattern. I think that what we're seeing, they just have gotten a lot smarter about it because of, I think, the ability to sort of capture data and really kind of micro-target messages. And also obfuscate, some of the other sort of political concerns that people may have with some of those corporations. Many of us like to think more kind of comprehensively about, what does it mean to be supportive of LGBT lives that goes beyond just saying you're LGBT friendly and kind of figuring out a way to get a product in front of me.
Kenyon Farrow, thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me.